Well, hello, and welcome back to part two of A Place for You, where we talk about all the things that make the southern half of the Shenandoah Valley a great place to live. So, we're going to look at that here in just a second, but let's go ahead and roll with it right now.
Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
So that's just a little bit about the counties and the cities here in the lower half of the Shenandoah Valley. But of course, if you're going to live here, or if you already do live here, it's really nice to know about home prices in the area and the cost of living. So what I want to do for that, I want to go ahead and I want to pull up a slide here. And on this slide, it tracks the last 4 years of housing prices here in the United States. Now, according to this graph, you can see back in quarter two of 2020, that home prices were about $374,000 on average across the United States. Of course, we know what happened after 2020. A buying frenzy ensued, and man, the price of housing over the next couple of years just went through the roof. As a matter of fact, in quarter four of 2022, you can see that it hit its peak at about $555,000 per average on home. But if you look what's happening here in 2023, we've seen the market start to equalize itself. You can see in quarter one, the market actually fell, the price of housing actually fell about $50,000. Now you say, well, that's the winter time, so maybe it wasn't as busy that time of year. Yeah, but look, in the next quarter two of 2023, it actually fell even another couple $1,000s, which that quarter is typically one of the busiest times of the year. And as you can see, it rebounded a little bit back in quarter three. But overall, I think we're starting to see some of the things. If you look at this graph back to 2008, when the last time we had our housing boom, and then it took several years before prices caught back up. I think that may be where we're at now. Again, I can't foretell the future, but like I said, I think that may be where we're at right now. So what does that look like in Virginia here? Well, let's go ahead and let's look at all three counties. And let's start out by taking a look at Augusta County and Stanton and Waynesboro. And as you can see here in Augusta County, everything pretty much follows that same picture that we have here about it going up and peaking and dropping off. As a matter of fact, you can see in 2023 so far, the homes sold in Augusta County have fallen off about $8,000. Now, if you look in Stanton and Waynesboro, that hasn't quite happened yet. And one of the reasons for that, I believe, is because inventory is very low. As a matter of fact, if you look at Stanton, for example, you can see that the average houses sold per month in 2022 was 70 houses per month, and that's dropped off only to 32 a month this year in 2023. And so, like I say, of course, if you have lower inventory, that means that you may still be able to get a little bit higher of a price for a house. But we are seeing a lot of things that are indicative of things starting to maybe normalize, and some of those are we're starting to see some houses sit on the market a little bit longer. Additionally, we are seeing homes actually being reduced in price much more than they were a year or two ago. And so all of those are things that obviously affect the market and affect a person's buying power. Of course, interest rates are one of those things. We know that interest rates have gone up, and that's a total another story in itself. And I invite you to watch my video here about that, where I go in a lot more depth about that as well. And actually, I talk about this same graph again, but I go into more depth about it, like I say. Let's go back up to Rockingham County. As you can see, everything has been on the price of homes has been on the upswing there, but you see again, the amount of homes that have sold per month is falling off a little bit. So both in Rockingham County and in Harrisonburg, you can see the average price of the homes in those areas. Now, if we look in Rockbridge County, we look at the median price of the homes in Rockbridge County, and you can see that in the county that they've already begun to fall. Not very much, but about $1,000 in Rockbridge County so far in 2023 from 2022. And you can see again that inventory is a lot lower. In Lexington, wow, they have fallen off a lot in Lexington. You can see about $42,000, the average price of a home that's sold in Lexington over the last year. So that much less is a big thing. And of course, in Buena Vista, that's gone up steadily. But as you can see in Buena Vista is a town with very affordable housing. So if your budget is one where you're looking to be in a home of that price amount, Buena Vista is one of the places I would definitely look. And Leslie and I can definitely help you out there with homes as well. But like I say, the prices here on these slides kind of gives you an idea about the different things that are happening. And like I say, I think the curve is just starting, and low inventory really has kept prices higher in some of these areas. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the cost of living in the Shenandoah Valley. You know, one of the greatest things about living in the Shenandoah Valley is that in addition to all of the beautiful views and activities and all of the events that are here to experience all the time, the cost of living in the Shenandoah Valley is less than the United States on average. And so I want to take a look at that. And as you can see here on this slide, we're looking at Rockingham, Augusta, and Rockbridge County, and then a couple towns or cities in each one of those counties. And as you can see, Harrisonburg and is about 6%, as well as Bridgewater, about 6% lower than the national average. And you can see the cost of housing there as well is about 8% less than the national average. The same thing is true of Stanton and Waynesboro as well. And in each one of those towns, you can see we're about 5 to 7%, and about 8 on the cost of living less, and about 10% less on the cost of housing, 8 to 10%. And then finally, when we look at Rockbridge County, you can see that living in Lexington is a little bit more affordable than some of the areas, and Buena Vista as well. Now, both of them have 27% for the cost of housing less than the United States. I actually think that's a mistake. That Lexington number is not 27% less, but Buena Vista definitely is. And of course, a lot of that goes into, like I say, that's the cost of the housing there. And as you already saw in the previous slide, there was definitely a difference there. So I think that's incorrect data that's on there, but because I've seen it different before. But like I say, Lexington a little bit higher, Buena Vista definitely that 27% lower. Well, I hope a part two of A Place for You has really given you some detailed information about the current housing market here in Virginia's mountains and valleys, and also giving you an idea about the cost of living. And like I say, both of those things are very beneficial because both of them are very much below the national average. And so it makes Virginia a great place to live, but not only because it's a little bit lower than the average cost of living in the rest of the United States, but also because it is so absolutely beautiful here in the area. And what can I say? Virginia's mountains and valleys is a special place. And if you're interested in moving to a very special place, or maybe you're moving across town here in Virginia's mountains and valleys, or maybe you're just looking to sell a home here in the Shenandoah Valley, then Leslie and I would be honored to help. Just call us, text us, and email us, and we will help you sell your home or purchase the home of your dreams. But hang around. There's, like I say, there's one more part. So hang around. And in that part, we're going to talk about the education. We're going to talk about the healthcare, and we're going to talk about the climate here in Virginia's southern part of the Shenandoah Valley. But until next time, I will see you around town.